Welcome to the Derry-Cast, where we discuss all things movies. I'm Em.
And I'm Tony.
And this is our first official episode. I hope you guys liked our introduction episode. And if you haven't heard that, please go and listen on our YouTube. And some of it is on our Instagram as well. We are going to start off with some movie news. On Saturday, the original actor for Darth Vader, David Prowse, MBE, passed away at the age of 85. He died of COVID-19. He not only did originate the physicality part of the role of Darth Vader, but he was in many of the horror films that Hammer Film Productions created, like Frankenstein. Other than being an actor, he was a writer and bodybuilder. He will be missed.
On Sunday, in honor of Chadwick Boseman's 41st birthday, Marvel and Disney Studios honored his iconic portrayal of T'Challa in Black Panther and changed the memorable Marvel Comics introduction, the one that plays in the beginning of all movies, with pictures and video clips of Boseman. This brought many fans to tears and was trending on social media. This version of the introduction is on Disney Plus's version of Black Panther. Boseman passed away of cancer in August of this year.
This morning, it was announced that HBO Max will be rolling out all Warner Brothers 2021 movie slate, including Dune, Space Jam 2, and The Suicide Squad. Besides the films being released on HBO Max, the films will also be released in states that have movie theaters open, all on the same day. This is a game changer for the movie and theater industry. Many are speculating the end of movie theaters.
And on Tuesday, star of Juno and recently the Netflix original series, The Umbrella Academy, Elliot Page came out as transgender. Page has been a shining light for all of the LGBTQI plus community.
And now after movie news, we are going to talk about one movie each that we really enjoyed this week. For my movie, it's going to be Folklore, the Long Pond Studio Sessions, which is a musical documentary that Taylor Swift directed in quarantine. After a successful surprise album release in July, Folklore, Taylor Swift dropped the Long Pond Studio Sessions on November 25th. This movie is released on Disney Plus and is only going to be on Disney Plus. It went into detail of all the songs and including the bonus tracks, The Lakes. Swift did talk and perform the songs with her two producer collaborators, Aaron Dessner from The National and Jack Antonoff, who was from Fun and Bleachers. They played all the songs and it was super interesting. It immediately became the most liked and highly rated movie on the movie reviewing website Letterboxd, which you should follow us on Letterboxd. We'll link that down below. This is a great musical documentary, and I wish it didn't take the coronavirus to have music films like this. It is so interesting to see the development of an album from an artist's point of view, from a producer's point of view. My favorite part of the whole thing was August, which Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff, that was their favorite part too. It shows that they worked super, super hard on the song, and it was one of their favorites to perform. They were all smiley, and it was really great. And I keep thinking about the smiles on their faces while performing and talking about how the song was created. I wish it didn't take the coronavirus to have music films like this. It is so... I already said that. But I just want to say Folklore is especially my favorite album of the year and maybe ever. All of these songs are on my top 20 of my replay list for Apple Music, with number one being Illicit Affairs. And now Tony is going to be talking about Palm Springs.
Yeah, so the movie I watched recently is Palm Springs, which stars Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It was released on July 10th on Hulu exclusively. It's a rom-com, but I think it's more focused on the comedy as opposed to the romantic part of it, which is fine. It's Andy Samberg, what do you expect? But it's practically like a Groundhog type movie where they're stuck in a time loop. But this time, as opposed to starting where you see the main character get stuck in a time loop or realize that they're in a time loop, it already starts with him already in it. He already accepted his fate, and he's just messing around with the timeline pretty much. But then at some point, he also gets... I don't remember the character's name, but it's the sister of the bride. She also gets stuck with him. I'm not going to go too much into the plot because there's a lot of spoilers and stuff, but there's also another character who's stuck in the time loop, and instead of enjoying it like the other two, he hates it absolutely. He totally hates Niles, which is Andy Samberg's character. It's great. My only question for that movie is the grandma stuck too?
Let us know if you think so.
Yeah, I want to hear other people's opinion, anyone else who's seen it, because she said a few things throughout the movie that made it sound like she was also stuck in that time loop, but I guess because she was old, she was like, well, I'm just gonna stay here.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I really like the movie. I've seen it twice now. I recommend it. Y'all should watch it. Love Andy Samberg.
Okay, so now we're going into our main subject, which, if you saw our Instagram post a couple days ago, we said that it was one of the most controversial topics in film and media, and it's not a topic. It is a topic, but it is someone, and that someone is Adam Sandler.
The Sandman.
The Sandman. We are going to go into detail about some of his comedic and dramatic roles, and we will try to answer the question is, why does such a good comedic and dramatic actor pick some of the craziest and shittiest roles?
Okay, so first up is The Wedding Singer. It was actually directed by Frank Corasi. It was released in 1998. It's a rom-com, of course. Basically, the plot, it takes place in 1985. Adam Sandler plays a nice guy with a broken heart who's stuck in one of the most romantic jobs in the world, a wedding singer. He loses all hope and he's abandoned at the altar by his fiancée. But later, he meets a young woman named Julia, played by Drew Barrymore, who enlists his help to plan her wedding. He falls in love with her and must win her over before she gets married.
That is, and I haven't seen this movie in a long time, to be honest.
Neither have I. I used to watch it for some reason a lot as a kid. Because I love Drew Barrymore and I love all the Adam Sandler movies. So, like, this one and, like, 50 First Dates, I like watching those a lot.
And then, like, Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore are a very, very good pair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like all the movies they've done together, like the roles. I think they work well together on screen.
Yes, me too. And these first two movies are going to be in the 90s, at the end of the 90s, which is kind of like the start of his career after Saturday Night Live, which he did get fired from.
And you know what? Before this, I didn't know he got fired for that. Mm-hmm. What did he get fired for?
Apparently it wasn't Lorne Michaels, who is the creator of SNL. It was a higher up at NBC who fired him and Chris Farley. Some say it's because he showed parts of himself that no one else wanted to see, or said very inappropriate jokes.
Okay.
My favorite non-dramatic comedy of Adam Sandler, which I still have the VHS for, is Big Daddy. He directed, Dennis Dugan directed this. This is one of his, director partners that he works with. This movie was released a year after The Wedding Singer, which was in 1999, and the genre is straight comedy. The Google plot summary states, 32-year-old Sonny Koufax, Adam Sandler, has spent his whole life avoiding responsibility. But when his girlfriend dumps him for an older man, he's got to find a way to prove he's ready to grow up. In a desperate last-ditch effort, Sonny adopts 5-year-old Julian, who is played by the twins Dylan and Cole Sprouse, to impress her. She's not impressed, and he can't return the kid. Uh-oh for Sonny. How do you feel about Big Daddy? Did you watch it as much as...
I did, because the twins were in it when I was growing up, and I was like, oh my god, it's Zach and Cody. But yeah, I love Big Daddy.
I will watch it every single time it is, like, on TV. Mm-hmm. I definitely need to get a DVD copy. Like, I have the VHS. I don't have a VHS player, though.
I know. Who does anymore?
So, the next decade that we're going to dive into with two films is going to be the new millennium, which is the 2000s. This is when Adam Sandler really jumped out of his comfort zone with Saturday Night Live, and he started to make more films with new directors.
So the first movie we're going to talk about is actually one of my favorites. It's called Little Nicky. It's directed by Stephen Brill. It was released in the year 2000, so the start of the millennium. And according to Google, because we should say the plots are coming from Google.
Yes, they are.
We didn't write these, but in a perfect world, he'd be happy to headbang in his room all day to heavy metal music.
Me too.
But no, his mom is an angel. His old man is a devil, and like all good fathers, he insists that Nicky gets involved in the family business. Nicky could think of 666 things he'd rather be doing than corrupting souls or spewing evil. But his father's command over Hades is threatened by his bullying older brothers. It's up to unbalanced Nicky to restore the balance between good and evil on Earth. Have you seen this one, actually?
I have never seen this film.
Really? It is something, because
I guess I have to watch it.
yeah, so he's one of the devil's sons,
Okay.
but he's obviously like the dorky one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler.
It's Adam Sandler.
He's kind of like, I don't want to say deformed, but he's doing his whole like thing,
Okay.
Yeah, and the whole joke, because he hasn't met his mom, is that like his brothers would always mess with him, and his brothers would say his mom was a goat because of how messed up he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but his mom is actually played by Reese Witherspoon. She's an angel up in heaven.
Wait,
yes.
Reese Witherspoon is like the same age as Adam Sandler.
I know. I think they said in the movie that angels never. No. You don't age in heaven at all. No one ages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she must have died really early.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Or I think no, because she was an angel already, but like.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie in so long, but it's a good movie. It's pretty funny. Pretty raunchy. Like, this is one of his raunchier movies, so
Okay.
don't watch it with your parents, really. But I like it. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
There's a lot. This is one of the ones where he has a lot of his friends in it.
Okay. So, like, kind of like when we talk about grown-ups, it's kind of like that, kind of in a way.
Yeah, but
Okay.
even more. I feel like
Okay.
everyone in it is, like, one of his homies.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
And it was really interesting when I looked it up and it said fantasy comedy. I was like,
Yeah,
what the
I forgot to say that.
heck?
It's a fantasy comedy.
That's crazy. And also in the start of this era too, we kind of see that he does physical comedy, like the whole goat thing, and says a lot of raunchy stuff that could now be considered what's the word? Problematic.
Well, not just that, but this film also, at least in my opinion, it is very, even though it's still comedy, it's still very different from a bunch of his other films. Like, it is a different, like it takes place, like, he is one of the devil's sons, so I don't want to be like, I don't know.
It's not problematic, but
Yeah, but it's totally different than a bunch of his other films.
like the next film, 50 First Dates.
Yeah, like, it is so far off from 50 First Dates.
Okay, so 50 First Dates was released in 2004. It's directed by Peter Segal. The genre is romantic comedy, and this is where we see one of the other films with Drew Barrymore. The Google plot summary states, Playboy vet Henry, played by Adam Sandler, sets his heart on romancing Lucy, Drew Barrymore, but she has a short-term memory loss. She can't remember anything that happened the day before, so every morning Henry has to woo her again. Her friends and family are very protective, and Henry must convince them that he is in it for love. So how do you feel about this movie?
So I have varying opinions on it, just because now looking at it these days, I don't know. I remember I read something about it, how the movie is technically problematic because he's just keeping her hostage or whatever. Like, that's just how people nowadays see it. However, growing up, I had a neighbor.
We were very different. Because,
Yeah.
like, me with Big Daddy, and then, like, my favorite movie growing up was Dude, Where's My Car? And then I recently rewatched it with my mom, and my mom's like, how the hell did I let a 3-year-old watch this shit?
Yeah.
Like, they're doing drugs, and they're going crazy. Like, it's kind of downward from, like, Dude, Where's My Car? But still, like, yeah, go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
it's
interrupt.
okay. It's okay. When I was growing up, I had a neighbor who really, I don't want to say names, but she really liked this movie.
Okay.
Way too much. Like, every time I went over, it was, like, on a loop. I was like, dude, there's other fucking movies that exist. It's a good movie. It's cute, but like that many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't think I've seen it in a long time because of how many fucking times she's had it playing.
So we're gonna go into the 2010s, which we have a little introduction compared to the other decades we just talked about. In 2015, the first Happy Madison production, which is Adam Sandler's production company, was released as a Netflix original. The film, The Ridiculous Six, sparked a series of movies and comedy specials that have only been released on the streaming platform. Earlier this year, it was announced this deal will continue with 4 more movies and specials. This shouldn't be a surprise, seeing that all of Sandler's films that are on Netflix have been played for over 2 billion hours.
Whoa.
That was released in January or February, I believe, so it could have been a lot more now. However, these releases, the movies in particular, have seen negative reviews and crowd reactions more compared to the last films we talked about. These movies are a classic Happy Madison production with a little bit of a Netflix twist.
So the first movie we're going to talk about is, movies. It's the Grown Up series. They were both directed by Dennis Dugan. The first one was released in 2010, and the second one was released in 2013. It's a family comedy. The plot states a single man who drinks too much, a father with 3 daughters who he rarely sees, a guy who is overweight and unemployed, a henpecked house husband, a successful Hollywood agent married to a fashion designer. What do these 5 men have in common? They used to play for the same basketball team at school.
I remember this series so much because my siblings went to school with Cameron Boyce.
Oh, wow.
And they would always talk about how there's this dude I know, he's in the Grown Ups movies. And it was just like a whole, if you're in an Adam Sandler movie, we will know, because besides the fact that they went to school with them, like, we will know because every Jewish person kind of just like, Adam Sandler is ours, like, you know. So it was very weird, and I remember seeing these movies with them, and it was very much like, it's so cool our friend is in like a movie. But at the same time, when I would watch it alone, these movies were great. Like, to me, I loved these movies. These 2 movies were not on Netflix though, but we were just gonna introduce how he's in Netflix now. So yeah,
And the Grown Ups, at least the first movie, for some reason, like, that was like the peak comedy for me. Like, I can't tell you how many fucking times I've seen that movie. My dad had rented it for me so many times from Redboxd because that's all I wanted to watch. And every time it comes on TV, I'll watch it again. Even now, if it comes on, I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times.
It's so good. And I believe they have a script for a 3rd one. They just don't have a director, and they just don't have money for it. So maybe Netflix will produce Grown Ups 3.
I wonder, though, because Cameron Boyce isn't here anymore. He was in both of them.
Yeah.
He plays, doesn't he? Yeah, he plays his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one is the most recent Adam Sandler movie. It's called Hubie Halloween, and of course we had to speak about it. Hubie Halloween is directed by Stephen Brill. It was released in 2020, and the genre is horror comedy, which I never thought I would see Adam Sandler in a horror comedy, but he recently was in a murder mystery comedy.
I feel like he should have been in one a lot sooner, because like I said, Little Nicky.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily horror, but he's fucking the devil's son, you know. A lot of it takes place in hell.
Yeah.
And there's like demons and monsters and stuff. So I would have expected this a lot sooner, and I wish he would have explored this category a lot more, because I like this.
Yeah, and this movie is really good. It's super stupid, but super great. Like, it's just the amount of effort that they put in this movie to make it as unlikable makes it likable.
Because it's so high quality, because it's Adam fucking Sandler.
Yes.
He's got the budget for it. He's got stars in it, like
he's
Maya
got his
Rudolph.
wife in it.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph's in it and stuff, and yet it's so funny because it's so shitty but so good at the same time.
And we definitely forgot to talk about the plot summary.
Yeah.
The Google plot summary states, it's October 31st in Salem, Massachusetts, and a town-eccentric, devoted community volunteer, and the good-natured object of his fellow citizens' derision and meanest pranks, finds himself in the midst of a real investigation for a real murderer. I don't want to, like, spoil anything for people, but spoiler alert for, like, the next 10 seconds. The mom feed the freaking murderer.
I was not... Okay, this movie had so many twists and turns because I was convinced it was going to be the girl that likes him, but it was the mom. I was not expecting that. That was so funny. And then in the end, she just disappears.
Yeah. It's just, Hubie Halloween 2? When are we going to get you?
Well, yeah, I think maybe they did that on purpose to leave it open-ended like that.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we get a Hubie Halloween 2.
I hope we get a whole Hubie Halloween series, or even, like, him just... a TV show. Like, just... Or, like, a short thing.
Just a short, yeah.
Hubie is the greatest.
And the best part is that he said that if Uncut Gems didn't win, he was gonna make the worst movie possible. And this was it. But I feel like he had to been exaggerating, because there were some scenes where it had one too many barf and vomit. I mean, barf and fart jokes, but that happens.
In, like, every Adam Sandler comedy.
Yeah, and I would say he's got worse movies. Like, I don't want to talk about it, because no one ever wants to talk about it, Jack and Jill, but he's got worse movies. And This one definitely was not it. I think this one is actually one of his good ones. But
yeah,
I
feel like it's like an up and down roller coaster with Adam Sandler. Like, some of these movies could be super, super well done, super great, super good comedy, and then there's others that are like, it's still super well done, but it's so shitty.
Yeah.
And problematic, and just very up and down.
And I'll be honest about this next genre we're gonna explore. I haven't seen too many of these films.
I've seen all of them.
Really? I haven't.
These are actually some of my favorite films, to be honest with you. And some of these are, like, the best directors working today. So we're going to do a little intro. We're going to go into his dramatic acting, which includes comedic dramatic roles or dramatic comedy roles. Sandler's dramatic acting should be in its own category and be explored in its entirety. There are 3 films he has done that have been considered dramatic or dramatic comedy. These 3 films have been widely reviewed and highly recommended by film journals, websites, and historians. Sandler has won and been nominated in major festivals and award shows for all 3 performances he has done. All have been said to be his greatest performance work. He has worked with some of the best directors from the past 20 years, Paul Thomas Anderson, Noah Baumbach, and the Safdie brothers. All 4 directors have been regarded by the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences during the release of these films and even today. So, I'll talk about the first one, which is Punch Drunk Love, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It was released in 2002. It's considered a black comedy romance drama. The Google plot summary states, although susceptible to violent outbursts, bathroom supply business owner Barry Egan, Adam Sandler, is a timid and shy man by disposition, leading a lonely, uneventful life, partly due to the constant berating he suffers from his 7 sisters. I would not want to have 7 sisters.
I know.
However, several events transpire that shake up Egan's mundane existence, one of which is falling in love with his sister's co-worker, Lena Leonard, played by Emily Watson, but the romance is threatened when Egan falls victim to an extortionist. And the extortionist is one of the best roles, played by, I forgot his name. He passed away. He did a lot of work with Paul Thomas Anderson. And just a little overview for buzz and awards before we talk about the whole film. Paul Thomas Anderson won Best Director at the Cannes Film Festival for this movie. Adam Sandler was nominated for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical at the Golden Globes, and he also won Best Actor at the Gijón, sorry if I butcher this, International Film Festival. I have this movie on, like, special edition, like, Criterion. I wish I could see it more. It's just one of those films where, like, I feel like you have to see it, like, once and then wait 5 years and see it again.
Oh, okay.
But it's like one of those good movies that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adam Sandler is so crazy in this movie, like crazy dramatic acting, and even though it's a comedy too, and it's completely different from his roles. Like I believe when I first saw this film, I watched it with my mom and my grandma, and my mom and my grandma were both like, Adam Sandler could do that? It was insane. It was crazy.
So the movie I'm going to talk about is the Meyerowitz stories. It was directed by Noah Baumbach. It was released in sorry, I'm so bad with names. It was released in 2017. It is a comedy drama. According to Google, the plot is the adult children of Harold Meyerowitz reunite in New York in preparation for their father's career retrospective. Some of the awards that it's won is Adam Sandler won the Hollywood Comedic Award for the Hollywood Film Awards. He also won Best Actor at the Gotham Independent Film Awards, and the movie won the Palm Dog Award at the Cannes Film Festival.
So, a couple things that you might not know about it, Tony, is that Noah Baumbach directed Marriage Story.
Oh.
And this movie is, I don't know how Adam Sandler, like, got in there, because he's, like, not even the main role. Like, it's about, what's his name? It's about an older gentleman, but there's also, like, Ben Stiller, Adam Driver, like, a bunch of actors in it. So he had to kind of, like, go, whoop, like, up. Like, he did a really good job. I've seen this movie a couple times because Noah Baumbach and my obsession with Adam Driver. It's really good. I definitely recommend it. It's not for everyone. It's kind of like a black comedy, which the family drama aspect of it could definitely be triggering for some people, especially with like a horrible father. Let's get to the next one, which is one of my favorites. Uncut Gems, y'all. Sorry. Uncut Gems and I have a special connection, which we will talk about later when we talk about our opinions about Adam Sandler and his career at the end of this. Uncut Gems was directed by Josh and Benny Safdie, or better known as the Safdie brothers, who directed Good Time, featuring Robert Pattinson. The movie was released in 2019. It is considered a drama, which you could also consider it like a crime movie as well. The Google plot summary states, a charismatic jeweler makes a high-stakes bet that could lead to the windfall of a lifetime. In a precarious high-wire act, he must balance business, family, adversaries on all sides in pursuit of the ultimate win. Adam Sandler was nominated for Best Actor in many film festivals. Adam Sandler and basically the whole cast and crew of Uncut Gems won a lot of Independent Spirit Awards, which is the day before the Oscars. And Adam Sandler won Best Actor. It is known, and we talked about it earlier, that Adam Sandler, if he wasn't nominated and he didn't win for Uncut Gems, that he was going to make the worst movie ever, which he wasn't nominated, he didn't win, and a lot of people expected the Safdie brothers and Adam Sandler to be nominated. I mean, there was a lot of people that could have not been on that list, and Adam Sandler could have filled that spot. Uncut Gems, just like Good Time and all the other movies that they have made, are not for everyone. It is filled, as it says, high wire. It's high stakes. Lots of anxiety. Lots of. You're on your seat the whole time. When I saw this movie in theaters for the first time, my Junior Mints fell on the floor. My frozen Junior Mints, which are my favorite thing, fell on the floor. It was crazy. It's such a good film, and it stands up even at home. I watched it at home. It's released on Netflix, just like the Meyerowitz stories. I hope one day Punch Drunk Love is on Netflix or a streaming platform. So now we are going to go into our personal opinions, besides history and facts, and other people's opinions about Adam Sandler.
So, well, for me, I grew up on his movies. I loved his movies. My dad fucking loves his movies. That's mostly where I got it from. My dad has that kind of sense of humor. So pretty much it just always grew up watching his stuff. Well, and he's inspired me a lot because I've always loved comedy and, like, always wanted to do comedy and, like, stand up and stuff, but just been too awkward and shy for it and stuff. But, like, his stuff has really influenced me in my sense of humor and my kind of comedy and stuff. So to me, he's, like, someone I look up to a lot. Just in that aspect, like, I want to be an Adam Sandler one day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you as well. I grew up on his work. Besides it with your dad, it was with my mom. That's kind of like her, I don't know, she's weird. Adam Sandler is her favorite, which I could also say he's an icon in my household for being Jewish and for being Adam Sandler. The Hanukkah song plays in our house, not even during Hanukkah, but all the months of the year. One thing that I have to bring up is I saw Uncut Gems at a Q&A, and Adam Sandler was there along with the Safdie brothers, and Adam Sandler was, like, the coolest dude. They were telling him to, like, sit down and, like, listen to the questions, and he saw people dressed up in his outfits and started taking photos with them, and he was just being super nice and super genuine, which I see in his movies, like with his, like Hubie Halloween. Like, his character is so genuine, and even though he's freaking crazy, like, he's nice. Like, you know, I feel like there's a part of him that comes out in all of his roles. And also, we have to give a big thank you to his wife, who helps him they go over their script together, which is really nice. And I think this might be the end of our episode. So, did we answer your question? Why does such a good comedic and dramatic actor pick some of the craziest and shittiest roles? I hope we answered your question, and I hope that you also have an answer for us. Leave it down in the comments, and we have another couple questions for you. What is your favorite Adam Sandler movie? How do you feel about the Sandman?
Let us know.
And tell us what you would like to hear in future episodes. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice rest of your day.
And in case I don't see you, good afternoon,
good evening,
and good night.